Have you ever stopped to think that perhaps the greatest tragedy in our planet's history wasn't an end, but a disguised beginning? Many believe that the extinction of the dinosaurs was the pinnacle of destruction, an event so catastrophic that it annihilated life irrevocably. But what if I told you that this is a limited, almost naive view of the true power of nature? Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about the end of one era and the dawn of another. What you are about to discover is not just a story of giants who disappeared, but the key to understanding the resilience of life and, more importantly, your own capacity to reinvent yourself in the face of chaos. The truth is, however much we cling to the idea that the end is always definitive, Earth's history shows us something radically different. Those who see the extinction of the dinosaurs only as a colossal loss miss the chance to see the incredible opportunity that arose from the ashes. It's a strong belief, almost a dogma, that the end is the final point, but nature, in its ancient wisdom, operates in cycles of destruction and rebirth. You are about to delve into an account that will demystify this view, revealing how the greatest cosmic disaster of all time paved the way for life as we know it today, including our own existence. What if I told you that by understanding what really happened on that fateful day, 66 million years ago, you can unlock a new perspective on the challenges of your own life? Yes, it's counterintuitive, but the lesson of the dinosaurs isn't about the inevitability of the end, but about the promise of a new beginning. In just a few minutes, you'll uncover the secrets of how life always finds a way, even after the most utter devastation. Prepare for a quick reward of knowledge that will change how you see resilience and the ability to overcome adversity. Stay with me, because the story of the dinosaurs' last day is, in fact, the story of our first day. Imagine, my dear friend, a planet Earth at its peak of splendor, a true untouched paradise, long before any trace of our civilization. We are talking about the Cretaceous period, a golden age where life pulsed with indomitable energy, and nature displayed itself in its most magnificent form. Think of forests stretching across continents, mighty rivers and deep seas, all inhabited by an impressive diversity of dinosaurs. Majestic triceratops, pterosaurs soaring through the skies, and the imposing Tyrannosaurus rex reigning supreme. It was a balanced ecosystem, where each creature played its part, a wild symphony that seemed destined to last forever. In this breathtaking setting, life was a spectacle of resilience and adaptation. Herbivores fed on lush vegetation, while carnivores maintained population control, ensuring the cycle of life continued. It's like observing a large enterprise in full operation, where each department, each employee, has its vital function for the success of the whole. If one link fails, the entire system is affected. In that world, balance was key, and nature, the great manager, orchestrated everything masterfully. But as in any great story, a twist was approaching, a shadow that silently stretched across the vast cosmic stage. While the giants of Earth lived their lives, oblivious to the threat, a shadow approached far away in the dark immensity of space. An asteroid, a solitary traveler of rock and ice, was on a collision course. Think of it as an unexpected challenge that arises in your life or business. Everything seems perfect. You're at your peak, but an external variable, invisible until then, begins to move in your direction. No one on Earth, not even the most powerful dinosaurs, had the slightest idea of what was coming. It was the prelude to an event that would forever change the face of our planet. A reminder that, however stable something may seem, the universe has its own plans. While life on Earth continued its course, with dinosaurs living their days in apparent normalcy, cosmic destiny approached at breakneck speed. Imagine the sun rising over the vast plains, illuminating herds of hadrosaurs and ankylosaurs, primitive birds experimenting with flight, and small mammals hiding in the shadows. It was a day like any other, but laden with a meaning that no one could comprehend. Life flourished in its fullness, a fragile balance suspended over an invisible abyss. It's like those moments in our lives when everything seems to be in perfect order, but unbeknownst to us, a great change is about to happen. But high above, the asteroid had already entered Earth's atmosphere. Think of it as a distant point in the sky that suddenly transforms into a gigantic shooting star, but which isn't a star. The air in front of it began to compress and heat up, and its surface became incandescent, a blazing omen. It transformed into a sphere of fire that grew larger every minute, moving at over 70,000 kilometers per hour. No one looked up. No one could understand what was happening. The birds stopped singing, the animals froze, as if the earth itself were holding its breath, sensing what was to come. Then came the light, a flash so intense it eclipsed the sun, transforming the day into a blinding glare. A roar without echo because it surpassed sound itself, a shockwave that propagated before sound could even reach it. Time, for an instant, seemed to stop. The asteroid crossed the last kilometers of the sky in less than a breath, its trail igniting the atmosphere and illuminating the day as if 1,000 suns had been born at once. And then, with indescribable violence, it struck the Yucatan Peninsula in present-day Mexico, generating an unprecedented explosion of light and sound, an event that would rewrite the history of our planet forever. The impact was just the beginning, my friend. At that instant, Earth transformed into an unimaginable inferno. The energy released was colossal, equivalent to more than 100 million megatons, vaporizing the sea and bending the Earth's crust as if it were a veil of sand. Imagine the force of 1,000 atomic bombs exploding simultaneously, but on a geological scale. The sky burst into flames in an apocalyptic fury, and within a radius of thousands of kilometers, nothing, absolutely nothing, survived. It's as if nature itself had pressed a reset button, annihilating everything in its path, without distinction. A shockwave swept across the entire planet, felling trees that instantly burned, turning the very air into flames. Imagine the heat of an industrial furnace, but covering entire continents. A gigantic wave over a kilometer high surged from the sea, sweeping across oceans and devastating coastlines thousands of kilometers away. Fragments of rock and metal were hurled to the ends of the earth, and the planet transformed into a deafening howl of destruction. It's as if the earth is screaming in pain, a sound that, if we could hear it, would make us tremble to our very soul. But it didn't stop there. After the initial impact, incandescent fragments began to fall from the sky like a rain of deadly stars. These were the rocks hurled by the colossal force of the collision, which, after circling the world, returned in flames. Day and night merged into a single inferno, with the rain of incandescent rocks continuing for hours, then for days, each fragment igniting new fires and creating seas of flames that consumed what remained. Forests vanished in an instant, oceans seethed, spewing toxic fumes. The air was fire, the ground molten glass. The earth became a furnace, and the worst was yet to come. The initial devastation was merely the prelude to an even darker period, my friend. The dust raised by the impact remained suspended in the atmosphere for months, then for years, blocking sunlight and plunging the world into an eternal twilight. Imagine a winter that never ends, a darkness that stretches for generations. Temperatures plummeted drastically, the planet's heat dispersed into space, and the wind carried with it ash, sulfur, and the very essence of death. It's like a prolonged period of crisis in your life or in a business, where resources dwindle and hope seems to diminish with each passing day. With sunlight blocked, photosynthesis ceased. The plants, deprived of their vital energy source, began to die one after another. Think of a food chain as a pyramid. If the base collapses, everything above it collapses too. The herbivores which fed on the plants found nothing left to eat and, weakened, fell. And when they fell, the predators followed. The Tyrannosaurus rex, which had once reigned with its unparalleled strength, now roamed the charred trees in a desperate search for food, a hungry shadow of its former power. The Triceratops, once majestic in their herds, were now solitary, slow and bent by hunger and the relentless cold. The earth had become a frozen tomb, a silent witness to an era that was slowly and painfully ending. In the sea, the algae disappeared, and the food chains collapsed, taking with them even the ancient sea monsters, suffocated by a liquid silence. And so, one after another, the giants became extinct, not in a day, but in a slow and relentless time. Each species took a last step, a last breath, a last look, marking the end of an era but making way for what was to come. But, as a wise mentor would always say, even in the greatest catastrophes, life finds a way. However, even with everything in flames and the dust of the end covering the world, something survived. It's fascinating to think that Underground, in the rivers, in the most hidden burrows, small lives resisted. Insects, amphibians, tiny mammals, forgotten creatures that no one had ever observed with due attention. They hid in the mud, in hollow logs, in the holes between the rocks, patiently waiting for the planet's fury to subside. And in that darkness, in that post-apocalyptic silence, the future began to take shape, a future that no one could foresee, but which already pulsed with the promise of a new beginning. Years passed, then decades. The dust began to settle slowly, like a heavy veil finally lifting. The sun, once blocked, shone again, weak at first, through the clouds of death, and the ice began to melt. Over the now silent Earth, the first light of the new world settled. Think of it as a new beginning in your own life, after a period of great challenges. The light returns, opportunities reappear, and hope, which seemed lost, begins to flourish again. It is a world without dinosaurs, yes, but awaiting a new beginning, a stage ready for new stories and new protagonists. Life returns slowly, timidly, fragile, but with unwavering strength. Moss on the rocks, ferns among the burnt trunks, small flowers opening their petals to a new light. Insects reappeared first, followed by smaller reptiles, surviving birds, and mammals that had waited in the darkness. Those who once lived hidden now dominated the plains where giants once walked. Light, agile, and silent creatures ran. The age of reptiles had ended, and the age of mammals had begun, culminating in the emergence of humanity and the understanding that the extinction of the dinosaurs was, in fact, the catalyst for our own existence. So, my dear friend, we have reached the end of this fascinating journey through the last day of the dinosaurs, but in truth, it is only the beginning of a new perspective for you. We have seen how an event of cosmic proportions, which seemed like the absolute end, was actually the catalyst for a new era, paving the way for life as we know it and for our own existence. This story is not just about fossils and ancient rocks. It is a mirror for your own life. How many times have you faced an impact that seemed devastating, an irreversible end, and not realized that there lay the seed of a new beginning? Life, like the Earth, has an incredible capacity to reinvent itself, to find a way even in the ashes. Think about it. If life managed to flourish again after an asteroid 10 kilometers in diameter, what prevents you from rising above any challenge life presents? What will you do with this knowledge? Will you simply absorb it as another curiosity, or will you allow it to provoke a real change in how you face the ends and beginnings of your own journey? Are you willing to look at your own extinctions, be it a lost job, a relationship that ended, or a dream that seemed to collapse, and see in them the opportunity for an even grander rebirth? Life doesn't give up, it transforms. And you? Are you ready to transform? If you believe, as I do, that the world's memory should not be forgotten, and that these ancestral lessons have the power to inspire us to live a fuller and more resilient life, then don't miss the chance to continue this journey of discovery. Subscribe to the channel right now, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and come be a part of our community. Here, every story becomes a voice. Every silence comes back to life, and every piece of knowledge acquired is a tool for you to build your own future. A future as vibrant and full of possibilities as the world that emerged after the giants' farewell.